tell what they do not want to hear. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. Tired of the same repetitive government narratives? Then wave goodbye to the distractions and rhetoric of corporate media. For this is Anti-Media Radio.
But I want to get the language right. The big government is in trouble.
You're all a bunch of slaves! A bunch of slaves!
What we need in the United States is not violence and lawlessness, but is love and wisdom and compassion toward one another.
What's your definition of me?
And now, here's your host, S.M. Gibson.
Fighting by different sets of rules. They're fighting with no rules, no regulations, no anything. They can blow people up in shopping centers. They can have bombs that are so vicious with the nails and the glass and all of the things come spewing out, blinding and destroying people and killing people. And yet we have rules and regulations. We can't waterboard because it's a little bit on the tough side.
Well, they say
we have to get smart.
They point out that it's a violation of international law to engage in torture, and the U.S. has signed on to these various international treaties banning torture.
Well, I would say that the eggheads that came up with this international law should turn on their television and watch CNN right now, because I'm looking at scenes on CNN right now as I'm speaking to you that are absolutely atrocious. And I would be willing to bet, when I'm seeing all the bodies laying all over the floor, including young, beautiful children laying dead on the floor, I would say if they watch that, maybe, just maybe, they'll approve waterboarding and other things.
As you know, Ted Cruz suggested today the U.S. should step up its involvement going into Muslim neighborhoods, as he described it, looking for potential terrorists. Is that something you would support?
Yes, I would. Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
I'm talking about Muslim neighborhoods in the United States, for example.
Yeah. I would support that, yes, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. But how would you do that? How do you find out where Muslim neighborhoods are?
You do it. You do it. Yeah, let me tell you, I bet you the local police know much more than what's going on than anybody would understand. I would be willing to bet that the local police, and that I know it's true with the...
Welcome to another episode of Anti-Media Radio. My name is S.M. Gibson, and fear, that is what is coming at us in all directions tonight. It is March the 22nd, 2016, March 22, and for that it'll be our first 2-hour show of Anti-Media Radio. Joined in the studio live tonight, Mr. Kevin Knight will be joining us. Kevin, how are you doing?
Hey, buddy. Doing great. I'm actually already here. So,
fantastic.
I won't be joining. I'm with you guys, man. I'm on board.
Sounds
Appreciate
great.
you letting me hang out, though, for real.
And then our Mr. Sound Director, Producer, one and only, Shannon Madden.
It's a bad man right there.
Good evening, gentlemen. Now, you wait a minute. We have to do this for 2 hours?
Yeah,
you didn't tell me anything about this before we got started. Whoa, man. That's going to be a great show.
No bathroom breaks.
I'm looking so forward to this.
Hopefully, we got hopefully some special guests lined up, maybe at least one. We'll see how it works out.
Yeah.
We're still going back and forth, but it should be good.
Yeah, any minute now, we're going to have a guest. Any minute now.
Okay, I'm going back to the clip. We've got Brussels going on. We've got almost 5,000 troops in Iraq right now. There's a lot in the news to discuss instead of talking about future guests. I'm pretty riled up right now.
Yeah, let's go into Brussels. So that is on the hearts and minds of everyone right now, for a lot of different reasons.
You know, it's been something that has been discussed lately, and that has been a topic of conversation, a location of conversation, and here we are, terrorist attack. What, approximately a year and 2 months after Paris, well, the first Paris shooting. Fear is being generated. Even Bernie, surveillance. You know, we got to set this up. And listen to what Trump's saying. Walking through the streets like he wants to go into neighborhoods.
Door to door.
How do you find out which neighborhoods? You do it. You just do it. That's disgusting.
Just get in a car and go door to door and... Hello, how you doing today? We're just checking to see.
Can I see the color of your skin? Oh, wait, nope. The
we're
gulag
come
for
in
you.
and take a look around. Do you happen to have a copy of the Quran hanging about?
The gulags. They're gonna send all the Muslims to the gulags. Like, that's terrifying. That a man that's leading to become the president of the United States of America.
Bear in mind, nobody has said that he's going to send anybody anywhere just yet.
Now,
he's just going to get them out of here. That's it.
Granted.
He's just going to scoop them all up, get them out of here for whatever reason. Or he's going to ban the Muslims that are coming in.
Oh, yeah, he's doing that.
That's definitely going to happen. No more Muslims. Doesn't matter what part of the world you're from. Doesn't matter if you have ever had anything to do with what's going on in the Middle East. If you're Muslim, you're not.
No, he said head to state. He said that's cool.
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We always take care of our
He's
friends.
not a monster.
Saudi Arabia. Oh, I'm sorry.
Who, by the way, I tell you what,
the surprise.
I'm glad that you said that. I want to do something real quick that I haven't done in a while since the end of last year. A few statistics real quick that you do not get on mainstream corporate media. So far, according to killbypolice.net, so far in the United States this year, 237 Americans have been killed by police officers. 26 officers have passed away in the line of duty. And Saudi Arabia, thank you for mentioning it, 75 people have been 75 people executed, beheaded.
Oh, we're well ahead of last year's total at this point.
Ahead, yeah, well ahead. So, yeah, back to what we were talking about, and we're going to ban the Muslims. We're going to round them up. He's saying this for the world to hear.
Well,
and it's not fazing anybody.
And, you know, he's also coupled that, and it's just so amazing that the fact that he can talk out of both sides of his mouth like he does. Because he's also, again, he's brought up to the redacted pages, something that nobody with any kind of voice in a microphone is talking about right now. He's also brought up some, single payer taxpayer healthcare system. I mean,
he's over the board with healthcare.
Oh, he has no idea. He's talking off the cuff, and he's.
It depends on what microphones it's sitting in front of him, and at that moment, and we've even seen him do it. Change his mind in mid sentence. No. I got thinking about that. You know what? I'm doing it right now. I'm changing my mind and making an event out of it. I mean, it's incredible. What he's been able to accomplish in his candidacy up to this point has been nothing short of remarkable and just terrifying. Because he can say anything. Anything. And his numbers continue to tick up.
Here's the thing that's so frightening to me. I'm a Christian. I'm the person that's supposed to be so terrified. Oh, the Muslims are coming in. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. Look, I'm not terrified of that. I don't hate anybody. What's stopping people from coming in the country going to have to do with anything?
Well, you're obviously a terrorist sympathizer then.
Oh, my gosh.
Don't you hate that? I'm a Christian as well, though it's not something I speak openly about on the radio. I need to speak openly about it more in my personal life, but that's another subject for another day. But yeah, I agree with you. I hear it from other Christians all the time that the Muslims.
Oh, that's all I hear.
And wait a minute. Whoa, wait a minute. So we have two Christians sitting here talking about the fact that banning Muslims from America is a bad thing. Whoa, what's going on with all that? Don't y'all go to church? Y'all need to go to church more often, because that's certainly not what they're preaching at church right now.
Look, that's foolishness. That is foolishness. That's not what the United States of America is about.
That's not what Christianity is about either.
Well, that's for a different conversation. But it's people that buy into fear. Okay? It's people that are willing to abandon their beliefs out of fear. And they abandon their moral, religious beliefs. And
which beliefs are we talking about? We're talking about the beliefs that they've been taught and spoon-fed from Fox News and the Republican Party to fear?
They even
that's
abandoned...
what's going on in evangelical America.
No, they've abandoned that. Because they've abandoned the indoctrination that you get in a school growing up in this country about how we're number one. You know, we're the greatest. We're number one. And I think they're having to admit that, oh, no, maybe we're not. Maybe we're not.
Why is it so important to be number one anyway?
Because that's what we're taught.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's also what keeps, just to take just a step back a little bit. I was having this conversation earlier, and somebody who I kind of somewhat respect, whose parents are actually are immigrants, had a couple of things to say about immigration, and I was really taken back. Again, myself having my wife's an immigrant, and so we've been through this whole process, and I was surprised to hear his comments.
Jeez, Jeb.
Oh, no, really? So I'm Mexican now, of course.
By default, yeah.
Right, of course. But, I couldn't believe, the point they were complaining about refugees and immigrants, but I could not help. I try to keep my mouth shut. But it all goes back to, why are they coming here in droves? Nobody pays attention, or I say nobody loosely, the people that I hear squawk the most about refugees coming into the United States are some of the most, and I'm not saying this goes for anybody, and it's probably just the people I happen to be around at work possibly, but not everybody's like this, but they refuse to get the idea that maybe if we didn't want refugees coming here in droves, that we'd not be bombing their countries into the Stone Age.
Well, okay, I think it was a Russell Brand joke, but it was something to the effect of an immigrant or refugee, what is that? I'd be scared of them. What is it exactly? It's just somebody that used to be over there, and now they've come over here. No, get back over there. Get back over there. Get back where you came from.
Right. I mean, that's it. It really points to the absurdity in the whole situation. That being said,
they just moved around.
Right. And here's the thing, and I actually, and I don't want to be mistaken for this, I understand, and I, air quotes, get the position of those that are screaming for immigration controls from Muslim countries. The ones that are pointing to other Muslim countries that are doing the same thing, that are doing the same thing. And that's something that's a little bit tough to argue against when they bring information like that up. But you can get something, you can understand somebody's point of view without agreeing with it. And I think that's where I'm at personally. There's so many things that come along with this, and it goes back to the same. Most people cannot have an intelligent conversation with you about immigration or about the refugee situation. That's not something I feel like you're not going to get that in this country right now, unfortunately. But, I think the case needs to be made each and every time somebody complains about the refugee situation, that the war in the Middle East needs to be brought up. Each and every damn time it needs to be brought up. And I think most people would probably agree with you. The guy that I mentioned earlier, that I was surprised that he actually was complaining about the refugee situation. And when I pointed out these guys wouldn't be coming here in droves from the Middle East if we weren't bombing them, into oblivion.
But Saddam was a bad man. He was a bad man.
And he really was.
That's what you hear, though. That's what you hear. That's the rebuttal. But he was a bad man.
I will say this. In the last couple of years, I've heard more people say and concede, and they're starting to learn about what Ron Paul mentioned about blowback.
ISIS would not exist if Saddam Hussein was not taken out.
Right. A lot of people don't realize that ISIS is not just Al Qaeda, so-called 2.0, but a lot of ISIS is actually a lot of leftover of Saddam's Ba'athist regime. That's a lot of the old guard of Saddam that came in, went underground, and there was a fascinating document came out here recently that laid out their whole plan, their structure, their organization. It is almost like a nightmare of a machine, but it was literally, it's all of Saddam, most of Saddam's older forces, and using what? Weapons and material, finance and sources, all from chiefly, mostly the Western-backed countries, a lot of this in the United States. And so, yeah, refugee situation, it's horrible, but remember how we got there.
And it's just irrehensible at the same time. I mean, I'm telling you, think about how people would be reacting if this was the other way around and it was Jews.
And America, this was bought and paid for with your money.
What do you mean? If it were Jews
had done it? If we were talking about Jews instead of Muslims, people would be freaking out.
Well, and I know this is not quite the Jews, but the Kurds were responsible for that the attack in Turkey that we had just a few in the last 2 or 3 weeks ago that killed all those people. Me and Shannon were talking about this a minute ago. You know, Erdogan, however you pronounce his name, the prime minister, dictator basically of Turkey, he actually mentioned, going back to the Brussels situation, he actually mentioned here in the last week and a half, I believe I saw an article on this at the Anti-Media, that he'd actually mentioned Brussels as a possible target for these terrorist attacks. And he was actually giving a speech shortly thereafter, and he was mentioning this Kurdish situation. You know, he was basically saying this could happen anywhere, but it could happen in Brussels next week. And so anyways, interesting situation. So we're not the only ones that understand that blowback causes terrorism.
Man, do we have to talk about any of this stuff?
I was fixing to say, I'm sorry to be a buzz.
No, that's fine, because look, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, and that's exactly what we're talking about here. You have to understand there's a consequence to your actions, and when you go around the world and you're bombing everybody around the world, you impose your will. Let's call Iraq what it is. That is a complete invasion and overthrow of a country. Mm-hmm. Complete invasion and overthrow. But he was a bad man. That can be the excuse till the end of time. Mm-hmm. But the facts are, he was not involved in 9/11. He was had not showed any aggression towards the United States whatsoever.
He was a toothless dog by the time we got done with him in the first Gulf War.
That doesn't mean that he was some great human being. He wasn't.
No.
He wasn't.
Oh, no.
Not at all.
No, but no more people are dead as a result.
Ironically.
Right.
Ironically.
And more hell has been unleashed on the whole world.
That's how bad it's been. They said, Saddam Hussein, it's so bad, it's so bad, it's so bad. That was heaven compared to what that country's become.
Gassing 4,000, 7,000 Kurds, don't get me wrong, anybody is absolutely horrible. We've now got 1,000-fold the damage that was done, and this shows no sign of letting up whatsoever.
Well, that reminds me, too, of my good friend Kelvin, who's actually been on the show a few times, who is a 3-time Iraq veteran, who, when he was over there, he would talk to locals. And one older gentleman told him, he goes, Saddam was horrible. He said, it was horrible being here. He said, but it was so much better. He said, it was so much better. He said, then you knew not to get out of line. You know what you could do, you know what you couldn't do, and you could live your life pretty normally. He said,
pretty much about like what we have here, correct?
He said, now you have to worry about bombs falling out of the sky. You have to worry about where your kids are at all times, because, as soon as you hear a in the distance, that could be your family. Mm-hmm. He said that it's terrifying.
A tough reality, man.
he said, so, with Saddam in charge, you had to live your life in some sort of restraint, but you weren't in fear constantly every second of every day.
So as long as you were towing the line and weren't screwing anything up, you were...
That's what the United States
didn't say anything bad openly about Saddam or his associates. Yeah, it's kind of like what we have here. Well, getting there anyway.
Well,
I mean, we are having this broadcast. Let's call it what it is.
It is what it is. It's just a lot more capitalistic, I guess.
Yes, it is.
Well, let's just remember this. The next time somebody says, oh, but Saddam was a bad guy, and tries to make the point that we obviously went in because he was a bad guy, 2 initials, 2 words that should shut them up forever. North Korea. That little
Saudi Arabia.
Well, that's our friends, but I mean, more people.
Yeah, that's even worse.
Well, I think more people
speak ill of our neighbors. Our friends
in
Saudi Arabia are here to help us and do business.
Can you believe people are freaking over this Cuba business? What's
Cuba.
that about?
I'm surprised Cuba. Is Cuba still open?
No, they're reopening it. It's back open for business.
Killer.
Interesting. I was having a conversation with my wife. With my wife about the same subject. Interesting piece of information here in the last few weeks. The president, they've been trying to tout this as a big opening of the economic lines to Cuba, so to speak. Even though Raul and the Castro brothers are like, hell no, dude, this is not what this is. The company, I don't know if you guys know this, but the U.S. gave permission for a large hotel chain, I forget how many billions of millions of dollars, to go open this place up in Cuba, and it was touted as capitalism wins. Capitalism is gaining a foothold in Cuba. It turns out that that's not actually an American company. It appears as though a Chinese company, which is of course a state-run communist country, is actually the one owning and building that hotel that is doing so under the cover of an American hotel. So it's not actually even it's not capitalism coming in. It's another communist country doing business with another communist country, which of course is not unheard of. But yeah, they use
the $1 Million Man theme song just started playing in my head right now.
Uh-oh.
Ted DiBiase. Trump had something to do with the WWF at one point in time, didn't he?
Still does.
Yes, he does.
Hey, he's still listed.
My wife came to me the other day and was like,
still listed as a WWE superstar.
Hey, now Vince
on
McMahon.
WWE.com.
Vince McMahon in a cabinet position, I can get behind that.
Are you serious? Of course.
Murder, man. Come on.
By the way,
at least if we're going to be fed a story, it'll be a good story.
Oh man, yeah, with explosions and boobies and oh man, it'd be great.
Nah, they toned it back a little bit.
Oh well, hey, but not the White House. You don't have to do that anymore.
No, that's where it's getting heated.
You can say dirty words on TV now.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
it's the White House.
Trump would never.
The
say
White House
words.
attitude era.
Yeah,
is what we're going into.
Yeah,
that's all right.
It's idiocracy, man.
Man,
it is.
We're gonna have Stone Cold up in the White House.
Oh, yeah.
It truly is idiocracy, and it's terrifying that this is what it's become. We're just living where everything we do is fear generated.
If you want to see Donald Trump kick North Korea's ass, give me a big old hell yeah.
By the way, something here's one thing about Cuba. I don't know. I find Cuba such an interesting. Cuba is an interesting situation, how close they are to us and how many different opinions there are on the situation. But, you mentioned about what we had here a minute ago compared to the United States. Cuba is trying to slowly, I think, come out of this. But I found it interesting here a few weeks ago when I read an article about a Libertarian Party. I think it was actually more of not a Libertarian National Party type, but a Libertarian anarchist group that were actually trying to make some waves in Cuba. And I thought, how difficult, how must your daily life be when you're trying, we're talking on the radio, we're a couple of guys goofing off on the radio, speaking to a lot of hopefully great minds out there that tune in, but we're not under threat right now. FBI's not fixed to come kick in our door.
That we know of.
Unless, well, I won't go there.
Yeah.
About the Free Talk Live. Was fixing to make a...
I don't even know what that is.
Oh,
I'm
really?
glad.
You haven't heard of this?
No, and keep it to yourself. I don't need to know.
I know you have heard of this.
I don't need
Really?
to know.
Okay. Yeah. Well, anyways, but I'm surprised to know that these guys have to go through this to even speak openly about this in this communist country. These guys have got to go home and wonder if they're going to wake up in the morning or if they're going to wake up with a bag tied around their neck. So, man, props to the people in these other countries that are living in oppressive regimes that are really, that are having underground radio programs like this, that are having to hide their antennas to keep away from bad peeps. So, anyways, I thought that was
interesting. Did you hear about the dude that the baseball player? And forgive me for not keeping up with baseball and
who does keep up with baseball? And we don't live in a baseball market, so we can,
right.
we get a pass.
But I think he played for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, and I think they were in Cuba playing the Cuban national team or something like that today. And one of the players, 3 or 4 years ago, got on a boat with his mother and 4 other people and took a 12-hour boat ride for 90 miles to come over to this country. And that's how he got here. And then he was playing Major League Baseball.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how somebody like that is getting assistance from somewhere. They still had to get here that way.
Right. Can you imagine?
So that's how bad it is.
Can you imagine?
People are willing to do that to get out of there.
And what's
even with that waiting? Of course, that's a great thing, waiting. But
what's the deal? Is that, if my understanding, we're young, but so we don't this.
We don't remember baseball.
Right? Well, we don't remember the Cuban situation. When it first got the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Well,
we weren't born yet. But
here's the thing: for whatever Castro is, which is nothing to be admired. I know these hipster idiots admire him for some reason because he wears cool clothes or something. And Shay was good looking. I don't know. Somebody took a great photograph of him one time.
Right.
He kind of looks like Nick Burnaby. He really does. A little bit, yeah.
Kind of does.
They really do.
Face swap.
I'm going to get him a hat like that.
I bet he's got one in his closet somewhere.
Does.
I would say, man.
But
you know how many chicks you can get with an outfit like that? Come on, man. Think about it.
He does all right. Anyway,
I hope he's listening right now and laughing his ass off.
What I was talking about was saying that Castro's been there since Eisenhower. Eisenhower was the president. Let me explain to you what's happened since Eisenhower was the president. John F. Kennedy came, got in a scuffle with Cuba.
Northwoods. Operation
Bay of
Northwoods.
Pigs, that whole thing. Kennedy gone. Castro still there.
Yeah.
Lyndon Johnson came. He threw down against the communists. North Vietnam hard. Went to Vietnam big time. Got to kill the communists. Cold War, all that. Khrushchev, bang, bang, bang. He goes nuts. Castro
still there.
Survives. Then you get Nixon. Gets in there.
Dick.
This guy gone. He's put out of office. You got Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter,
Jerry,
Ronald Reagan,
Ronnie,
George Herbert Walker, Bill Clinton, Old
Dubs,
Barack Hussein Obama's, and I guess Senor Trump, whoever we're about to get.
Oh God!
But Fidel Castro is still alive.
But I say that
he's still there, and his brother's in charge.
I mean,
say what you will, that is a survivor.
Is he really still alive?
I don't even know how.
I think they just got him in a box, just like on
how. And
somewhere.
This is on top of the fact that there's all these stories of the CIA trying to kill this man repeatedly for decades. He's still there.
Still there.
You would think if they really want him dead, he'd be dead.
Well, because there's no
But
oil there.
He's still. Well, we
can start there.
I'll be honest with you.
I don't think they have any gold mines either. So
had Operation Northwoods. Had Operation Northwoods gone through, and of course that was the plan by the Joint Chiefs of Staff for the Kennedy administration to set up a false flag, including. I say including, man, there was a lot to it. There were so many things that reads literally from like a spy novel. But all plans and attempts to frame Cuba for war. Fortunately, it was actually turned down. But I'm sure if you guys actually read this, man, this is probably of all the U.S. government theorized logistical plans that could ever possibly have been thought up. This to me seems, even at that time, seems to be one of the most. I mean, just make your jaw drop. I mean, actually staging crashes. And this is, years ago. They're talking about electronically flying an airplane and crashing it that supposedly were to have American students on it that were going to be bombed by Cuba. Including there was another situation of throwing bombs over some guys were going to throw bombs over the into a U.S. military installation where there were going to be uniforms left, Cuban military uniforms left, all kind of just crazy stuff, all set up to do what? To go after Cuba, to bomb Cuba.
Yeah, for an excuse to invade Cuba and free their people.
And far from
whether they want to be free or not.
Right, far from the very first time that this has ever happened.
Well, there was
probably not the last. I would.
Look, there was about the USS Liberty incident.
In
'67 with Johnson and.
They were just determined to destroy that ship, right?
The Israeli fighter jet.
I had this discussion with Grandma the other night, and you have some family members and some people where you just can't have that Israel discussion with them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's.
I've got several family members right now I can't have that Trump discussion with.
I can disagree with anybody and still have a conversation, but some people, that is apparently.
Especially when you start laying on all those, sticky facts things. Yeah, you start throwing some facts around, and next thing you know, it's, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Let's go eat supper.
Right. Or request for a source.
Yeah. Well, you got that from such and such. I can't believe you said that. I mean, are you serious?
I can literally listen to some people.
Who even reads that anymore?
I can think of one person, and I literally, every rebuttal that this person has, I have heard this because I'm a news junkie, man. So even if I don't listen to it or agree with it, I'm listening to the various talk channels. Yeah. And I've heard these same, I can literally hear Rush say this. I listen to it hear it on the job site every day. I can literally hear him say this and somebody make the same argument that evening, which I'm not against that, but using the same exact words, ask a question about that goes beyond that, right over there.
Well, you don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I forget. Russia's the one really who was saying that, and it sounds good to me, but we do need to keep the refugees and the Muslims and the immigrants out. The Mexicans are taking all our jobs and they're taking our money, and they're messing, and Trump's going to get in and fix all that.
Well, I usually, whenever those conversations start, kind of twisting and winding their way, and I just really just tired of it and don't want to talk about it anymore, I'll just bring up the American Indians and leave. So
that's
usually that right there.
And they probably understand that. That's probably something they can actually jive and understand.
Well, I am part Sioux Blackfoot Indian. My biological great-grandmother was full-blooded Sioux Blackfoot Indian.
Oh, come on, man. Who's not?
So yeah, we've got we especially in this region that we live in. There's everybody's got a little in them,
I've got an interesting story, but I'll keep it for later.
Papa wandering off into the reservation after hours, smelling of gin and
yeah. Actually, one of my great grandfathers was a Indian chap. Good fellow, apparently, but was taken hostage, ended up going overseas, became friendly with the natives, with the people there, came back, was brought back, acted as a emissary go-between Chief Tuscaloosa down in, of course, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Yeah. But he was, right, he was trying to, this relative of mine was trying to to get the Native Americans to work out with the British or these Europeans, and he was, for the most part, labeled as a traitor and as somebody who was trying to do the natives wrong. But anyways, interesting story. You never know how much history and immigrants and how much so-called foreign blood one might have in them. So, word of the wise, if you're going to take a hard stance on immigration, on people of other countries.
Oh, I can't get into it.
I mean, how can
like
people
for real? I can't even hear it.
How
like,
can
why do
people
people
look past
care?
that?
Like, why do people care? Think about it. Like, it's a physical thing. It's somebody that was somewhere else. Okay.
We were all somewhere else. All of our people or family members that made up part of our DNA all immigrated from somewhere else to America.
They're not that different than you.
No.
They're not. They have the same needs and wants. Some customs may be a little bit different.
Except for Putin. Putin has needs that far exceed any superhuman. Yes.
Whatever
he's not a man.
He is.
He's a legend.
Commie. You commie.
I want to get that cologne.
You're
that Leaders
definitely a
One
commie for
cologne.
that.
What a commie.
He has his own cologne. He advertises it, man. It's awesome.
Actually, that's not his.
You're one
It's
of
not
those.
his, but I mean,
no.
that's
Two
his
guys. Two guys from another country. Ironically, actually put that. We mentioned this. So one of the first shows that I had just started doing.
When you bridle up to or saddle up,
You're
next
one of
to him,
those
you're going to
Shay
smell
loving
Leaders One.
hipsters. You're one of those Shay loving hipsters.
No, I'm a Putin loving history.
Really?
Man, that guy's
You
awesome.
don't
dude.
like him.
I mean, I'm not going to go live in Russia or anything or defect, but
better
I mean,
dead
he's
than
kind of
red,
cool.
dog. Better dead
Well,
than red.
it's like as far as like the way Trump is cool in his WWE character
Yeah, but
kind of
it's the
way,
same thing.
He's still
but
a
not in
dictator,
his.
man.
I'm a
Putin is
complete
not a
monster
WWE
dictator.
character. Putin
He's
is
a horrible
James
person.
Bond villain. Is what he
Yeah.
is. Yeah, he is a James Bond
Yeah,
villain,
he
like
is.
to the nth degree.
You're an R. Kelly fan.
That
doesn't
oh,
mean you're-
whoa,
no,
don't
Bob.
you put that on me.
No. Why I say that? I say.
Don't put that evil on me,
the
Ricky
R. Kelly
Bobby.
type of fan. That says
I do like
hey, listen,
R. Kelly. It's
I
just that there's a
recognize
certain stigma attached to R. Kelly these days.
let me back it up. You're a Michael Jackson type fan that comes forth and says, the guy did a bunch
What
of
is he
crazy
talking about?
stuff.
What are you
the guy's personal life is his personal life, but he wears.
Piss on you.
But I like his music, and I don't listen to him for what he does, the personal stuff. I just respect
Look,
the way he does.
here's the thing.
He does his position. That's what people like about Putin is people want a strong leader that they don't realize will put that boot down on their face. And I think Putin, is that strong leader to a lot of Americans.
This is
All
the
I'm
best,
saying is I'd like to have dinner with a guy. That's it.
This is the best way to explain it.
It'd be a great dinner.
I think as far as a character on TV
With a
goes, Vladimir Putin is someone that you enjoy watching.
Oh man, yeah.
As far as a human being and leader of his country goes, he is a vile, evil dictator.
Who would play Vlad?
We're probably the few of the people that our type of freedom-minded people and listeners are probably the few people that understand that, because it seems like nowadays
People like him.
I know, that's what I mean. People have literally
Trump likes him. Trump is on record. Remember early on in the debate, Trump loves him.
He is, but now he actually
is a great TV character.
He actually mentioned it the other day, though. Trump turned.
But so is Trump.
Right. Well, Trump turned
And
around
Trump's
and
the-
pivoted. Trump pivoted on the
worst of the
Putin
worst
love.
of the worst.
Pivot, man.
Yeah, he pivoted on that. He now says that Putin is a ruthless dictator, and he's the next big bad guy.
Change. It doesn't matter.
Right.
That's the good thing
What's
about
today?
Trump.
That was
He can
what,
change.
Thursday? Yeah. It'll be over.
Right now. Wait. Nope. Now. Nope. Changing. Yep. Change. No.
These are words.
Change back.
And words. These are the best words. I only use
It's going to be
great
great.
words.
It's going to be great. I want to use great words. We're not going to do great things. It's going to be great. And I got to keep the Muslims out. Got to build that wall. But it's going to be great.
Immigrants, Mexico, wall. Absolutely great, beautiful, amazing. That's disgusting.
Look, this is nobody in, nobody out. We're going to build a wall. We're going to have safe zones.
It's going to be 40 foot.
We're going to
It's
go
be
into
45
people's
foot. I don't know
neighborhoods.
how the wall is going to be.
Oh, you don't smart off, it'll get taller.
We'll make it 60 foot. I
10
don't know.
foot taller.
We're not going to do anything about the tunnels running underneath the wall that are how immigrants get here now. But
You
that's
don't
another
worry
story
about
for
that.
another
We're
day.
going to run tunnels down. We're going to do underground fence line.
An underground wall.
Have you never heard of an underground fence line? My advisors, my friends tell me it's there. It's there. This is the greatest country in the world. We're going to spend the money. We're going to make Mexico pay for it. Trust me. If we want it to happen, it'll happen. I say it's going to happen.
This is how blatant he is. They asked him, "Would you build a hotel in Havana?" He goes, "Yup, I sure would."
Oh, well, I mean, he's a businessman. But that tells you how off the cuff that was. If he'd had time to prepare for that, he'd have said, hell no.
I got to bring this up. Claire Burness just sent this to me a minute ago, since we're talking about Donald Trump.
What up,
Apparently him and Ted Cruz's wife are in a little bit of a war on Twitter.
Oh, I saw this. The
7-second
tweet.
I know who wins this already.
The 7-second tweet.
Trump always wins anything like this. Come on now.
Big Daddy got this.
Big Daddy got this one in the bag.
Oh, already.
That is some low-level ad you did using a picture of Milena, or actually picture Milena. That's what it says. In a GQ shoot. Be careful or I will spill the beans on your wife, Senator Ted Cruz. Now, I wonder what beans those are.
I wonder if we can get that trending.
That would be awesome. Everybody really does have dirt on his wife.
That picture and saying, what did you mean? Hashtag 7-second tweet.
Personally, I think Ted Cruz is gay anyway, so that might be the beans that we're talking about. But whatever.
Oh.
I'm sorry, man. He just strikes me as a gay dude.
You've always said
I know. Since day one, since the very first moment that I ever paid any attention to Ted Cruz, long before he started running for office.
You've always said it.
It's like, wow, man. I'm just saying. I was right about Lindsey Graham. Okay.
Hey, guess what? Elton John.
That was a softball. I know.
Right.
The Ted Cruz, no, man. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I can see it, man.
I know a closet Nancy.
I don't
when
care.
I see one. I'm just saying. Nothing wrong with that.
There's a story up on the site right now I want to discuss. If I can get back to my notes here.
I don't think the gays want Ted Cruz, though.
No, I don't want him.
Marco Rubio, they'll welcome him back with open arms. But
I don't want him.
Ted Cruz, nah. Nobody wants Ted Cruz.
I just want to live in my own bubble.
I'm amazed that he's doing as well as he is. Or for that darn case.
I think he just outlasted everybody. I think Rand Paul got out too.
I think that's indicative of his dating life. He probably just wears people down just to, okay, yeah, fine, I'll go out with you, whatever, just shut up about it. What are y'all big Ted Cruz fans? Everybody got quiet when I said that.
I didn't mean to personally. I was actually reading trying to find the Twitter conversation. I was trying to find the Twitter conversation that you're discussing about between Ted Cruz and.
Are you not in the thing?
Oh boy,
put you in the thing.
It deleted.
I am in the thing. I didn't realize that's where it was.
It got deleted in 7 seconds. Anyway,
I'm in there.
It did. Anyway, actual news, Kevin. I want to bring you in on this for sure. I don't know if you saw this story on the site. But apparently, no boots on the ground in Iraq actually means there's 5,000 troops, almost 5,000 troops.
Surprise, surprise.
There was a story coming out about the 27-year-old Marine that was killed over the weekend by an ISIS rocket on a base that the American public didn't even know existed.
Imagine that. This is yeah, that's good. But I'm sorry. I say it's good. Callers, listeners, something else. Some shenanigans are going off Mike's side, so you can't see what we're talking about. But this is more. It's more of the same. For one, about the base situation.
Can I put my pants back on now? Okay. All right. Good.
Jeez,
where's that mic at?
Okay, fine. I'll leave them off. Gosh, I don't have to be like that.
That's why we need that 7-second delay, right? Where was it?
I don't know. You were talking about something.
No, I'll cut his mic. Here it goes. Yeah. I figured he was going to follow that up with an encore.
He's the one in control of the sound.
Man.
Yeah, that's all I do around here. that and make funny little comments here and there. That's all I'm.
And hold up Vermin Supreme's campaign by the suspenders. Your personal self,
man. I'm telling you what.
You're his Alabama connect.
I actually sent. There was a poll taken. I can't remember who it was. Hang on. Let me see.
It was.
I saw he's got some.
Was it Billboard?
It might have been Billboard or something like that. Took a poll and he actually showed up like in because it's news, man. This is news.
News?
Vermin Supreme has promised all of us a pony.
Here's your Vermin Supreme minute. Go. Plug Vermin.
Vermin Supreme is quite possibly the greatest candidate for the United States president. Way better than that Trump guy. He's way better than old Bernie Byrne, and way better, and I think everybody's way better than Hillary.
Let me explain something to you real fast.
You said I got a minute.
Listen, this is about
this. I didn't get my minute.
Listen, this is about what you're talking about. Vermin Supreme is an oral authoritarian, and ponies are a hidden tax on the United States because feed ain't free.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you don't care about your teeth, do you?
Burn.
So you don't like ponies.
So how about that? I don't like your candidate.
I don't know you right now.
I don't like your candidate.
I can't trust anybody that doesn't get behind ponies and a pony-based and a pony-backed economy. Sorry.
It's a hidden tax. Continue. Can we get to real news now?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell him you said that. In fact, I'm going on his Facebook right now telling him you said that.
Please do.
You're an asshole.
So yeah, Kevin, about the troops on the ground in Iraq. We never left, man, and we talk about this all the time. You know, they changed the name to advisors, but the Pentagon has supposedly planned to acknowledge the escalation.
Of course, right. Of course, always.
How are we advising them? What are we taking them down there, taking their troops down there, holding the gun and saying, now you've got to shoot your enemy exactly like this and go ahead and shoot their enemy for them. I believe we did the same, something similar to, was it Afghanistan? Where was that? There was basically we took out a local warlord that we swore up and down that we were actually just there in a, in an advisory position, and it come to find out that we were the one actually rolling the tanks in there and holding the guns and saying, "Hey, get out of here."
How are we still there?
Yeah, because we're supposed to be. Wasn't that one of that change we were talking about in 2008? Wasn't that part of that change? We were going to get all the troops out of it.
We know John McCain
closed down Guantanamo, and it's going to be beautiful, and everybody's going to get health care and dancing in the streets.
He just had good PR people.
John McCain just a few years ago caught flack for pointing out the fact that the U.S. would probably be in Afghanistan for the next 100 years. So there's no surprise there that U.S. is by far not the first company. Quite literally company, right?
No, you got it right.
You said it right.
I had it right
the
first time, right?
Corporation.
Actually, to try to invade Afghanistan, and the U.S. Marines are unfortunately caught as the tools for the empire. But that's what they're doing there, and obviously subjugating. Why is Afghanistan, with ISIS being so big? People forget that Afghanistan, we still have troops there, and like you said, it's supposed to be 1,000 troops left, and we've got 5,000 supposedly there. Those are actually on the books. Of course, we've talked about this before. It's a shell game where the U.S. routinely declares that one troop, we're not putting boots on the ground. And that's the thing, even too, that's those catchphrases that we even use further that, this continued lie or alteration of the facts. Because people think, really, that's what they're there for. Boots on the ground. Dude, we're at war. You're bombing.
That's what boots on the ground means.
Right. You're bombing and subjugating another country. But see, that's the thing. When they turn around and they say, okay, we're taking our boots out of the ground. We're taking no more boots on the ground. We're not putting boots on the ground. And you talk about advisors. Dude, that's all the people that we actively recognize. But as we know, the U.S. has way more people in Afghanistan than what they've had in a long time.
Oh yeah.
And it's not going anywhere, dude. Afghanistan is not any more secure than it was the day that we went in.
Nope.
and it's not looking any different. So yeah, we're not.
Well, there's certain areas of it that are secure. I'm
right.
Sure.
Well,
areas
it's a
that we
shell
have
game.
interest in.
Yeah, excuse me. I don't want to make it out as though there's not been any so-called gains, but now what do we see that's come back? We've got heroin. That's a whole nother discussion for another day. But we've got a heroin problem, not just in this country, but around the world that was not existent.
Seems like there's a lot more heroin around now.
Oh, it's
or at least stateside anyway.
Okay, explain this to me then. The Soviet-Afghan War helped do its part in collapsing Russia. I mean, that helped take a toll.
Right.
That was about a 9-year war. What are we in now? Year 15?
Right, wow.
14? 15?
And continuing going.
Mm-hmm. And no plans of leaving anytime soon.
No.
Hey,
interesting. And that's not the only place that we have troops in the Middle East right now.
Interesting side note, real quick.
Scattered all throughout.
They're everywhere. It's just on how big of a force are you looking for. They're everywhere.
Interesting. I think it's interesting, anyways. For a long time we've been told that the reason why the U.S. supplied the Mujahideen, right, was because we wanted to help fight the Russians, right? Well, Zbigniew Brzezinski, of course, at the time was Jimmy Carter's foreign policy advisor. National security advisor. And he's been an advisor for many presidents. His daughter, of course, is Mika Brzezinski. He actually is on record saying that, ironically, I say ironically because it goes completely contradictory in what the official story is that, he claims that actually the U.S. went into Afghanistan before Russia and attempted to actually goad Russia in to coming into Afghanistan. And that's from Brzezinski, and Brzezinski is one person who I usually take him at his word, and he's usually open about that, especially this type of discussion. But he's another globalist, CFR, Trilateral Commission, globalist scum, of course. But I thought that whole situation is so messed up, and if the Russians couldn't do it then in that many years, and now, of course, and they're leaving Syria, which is another whole discussion for another day. That's interesting too. They claim that they're pulling out of Syria. After having accomplished most of
can you believe that if he really does that, just in and out, he ain't dragging them into World War III.
We have no concept of really.
I really don't like all this positive Putin talk because I don't like him. But.
No, I don't like it either. I was John Birch Society from a younger age and pretty hardcore anti-communist. So I was broke of the love for communism way before it ever got a chance to take root. Despite one of my teachers in school was adamant support for socialism, not communism, but call it what you will. Anyways, but trade with Cuba.
Here. I know what I was thinking.
I do too. That's crazy. Right?
No, I want you to, for everybody out there, because I know there's people in our audience. I know there are, and it's okay. It's okay if you flirted with accepting Donald Trump into your heart. We can try to eject it. We can try to help. So
it's going to require some bloodletting.
So this is what I want you to do, Kevin. I want you to go into the whole Donald Trump foreign policy connections and the people he's talking to and the people that will be advising him. So everybody is aware that, Mr. I said the Fed once.
Boy.
Yeah, I'm going to pull Iraq was a mistake. Mr. Iraq was a mistake. Tell us the people advising his foreign policy.
Well, unfortunately, it's the same people they're going to be advising or that have advised for the most part, every president we've had in office for quite a long time, and that being not just the globalists, but
name the names.
In this instance,
name the names of the people. So this isn't just Alex Jones globalist. It's the globalist.
Right. Man, do I need to run and hide?
Yeah, he does this to me all the time too. He tries to get me on the fly.
Right.
for stuff like this. And
no, I'm saying no. I know what he's talking about. I'm just kind of worried,
Right.
And it's to be honest with you, because here's the issue: is a lot of people will rush to call you a conspiracy theorist when you get into talking about the CFR, the Council on Foreign Relations. But a lot of people are not familiar with the CFR and the people that run the organization. But for those that are not, that's an organization. You can look them up online. Their sister. These guys are kind of similar to this on the Bilderberg type level, but they're for the most part who runs the United States foreign policy, and their sister company. I say company. It would quite literally a corporation is the Royal Institute of Foreign Affairs that's over in Europe. And these guys for a long time have controlled foreign policy, or I say controlled. They have been the opinion molders, the opinion thinkers. They've got all kind of people that recognizable faces. A lot of your media pundits that we even see. A lot of people interviewing Donald Trump are members of the Council on Foreign Relations. Mika Brzezinski and Morning Joe. These guys are actually, feigning a little bit of
Roll Tide. He went to Alabama.
Oh, did he? Right. Well, despite his their little bit of hostility towards Donald Trump, they're big friends with him. Brzezinski is the guy who I named a minute ago, who was Jimmy Carter's foreign policy, national security advisor. Is Brzezinski's daughter, right? So a lot of these talking heads and pundits are actually CFR members. Well, the president of the CFR is actually who Trump named as.
Have you seen the video real quick of when he was interviewed by the two of them?
Which one? He's been on there.
Trump was,
right?
it was I think it was one of the evening ones.
I can't stand Mika. So.
Anyway, but it was this off-camera conversation about how they're not going to ask him any hard questions.
That's what I mean. That's kind of what I was thinking back in my mind.
So, because you said something about they may have grilled him or something. It's like, no, they didn't. And they even discussed it openly about how they wouldn't.
About their faint hostility towards him. I mean, they're
buddies.
Right.
They're pals.
They're on the same track.
Kind of like Hillary and Trump are.
But Trump was asked, and and this is what I point out to people that are asking. Some people have noticed. I say some people. I've heard discussion about the fact and a few accolades to Donald Trump for his foreign policy. He's taken a couple of positions that all of us have probably been favorable to at some point, if not, hopefully still. About less in the Middle East, less to do. He's called out. He's been a little bit lesser of a war hawk. He has his moments, put it that way. But he was asked by Megyn Kelly about.
I dislike Donald Trump so much that part of me is just like, wait, he's against the war in Iraq. Let me rethink this again. Right. I know I was.
There's no candy on that van, Philly. Gosh, there's no.
I'm going neocon.
There's no hugs and balloons and good times there. Oh no,
oh, Jeb! Exclamation point.
Jeb.
But yeah, he was asked by Megyn Kelly. Donald Trump is so infamously famous for sidestepping now, where he has become for sidestepping questions and answers. But he was asked to be put on. He was put on the spot. Megyn Kelly asked him, "Would you please name one of these people of one of your advisors?" Because he always says, "I'll go," and smartly, rightly so. It's a good idea. Henry Ford did the same thing. You don't have to be the smartest man to run the company, but hopefully you're smart enough to hire people that are smarter than you to get your opinion. So that's what Donald Trump basically did. And he was asked, and he named Richard Haas, president of the CFR, the Council of Foreign Relations, as his foreign policy advisor. He first met him, to my understanding, back in August of this past year. Sorry about that, folks. And he has made it apparently a routine thing and met with him several times. So don't think for a second that when Donald Trump gets to be a president, if he is, he's going to be picking from a globalist organization, for the most part, for a lot of his advisors. And that's what, if you notice, he keeps mentioning China, right?
Yeah, and I think people are under the impression, because of some of his positions that he's taken on Iraq and the Middle East, that he's not going to be that guy. But if you look at the people around him, he is that guy.
Right, he is. And also, if you look at, he's mentioned, like I said, he keeps mentioning China. And we've seen here recently there's a conflict going on out in the ocean with China and the United States and a couple of, apparently some other countries over disputed islands. China came in and basically in some disputed islands, I won't say basically, but one of the things they did was poured sand and created some artificial islands, some artificial reefs. So that's something they've been doing for a while. And to my understanding, a little bit of that went on, but this area that's in conflict, that's what Trump is bringing about. And this idea of not just economically going after China, but foreign policy-wise, this is a CFR thing. Richard Haas has been promoting, I'll start to say long, for quite some time. He himself is on record discussing the fact that the Middle East situation is just a boondoggle that we should pull out. There's no winning it. There's no reason to stay in. And this is the head of the CFR now, the head of really one of the most powerful, influential organizations in the whole world, telling Donald Trump that, listen, we need to get out of the Middle East and turn our attention towards China. So we're going to continue to see more and more of that talk. But don't think for a second that hometown hero, nationalistic Trump does not have globalists in his ears telling him or suggesting which way to go.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. I tell you what, I want to go ahead and bring on the Miss Lovely Claire Burners. Claire, how are you doing tonight?
What's up?
Hi, I'm having a day.
Hey, Miss Claire, how you doing?
Hi, everyone.
Claire's rough day.
Let's talk about your rough day. What's going on?
No, let's not do that.
Cat? Did the cat throw up a hairball or something in a slip?
No.
Nothing. Oh, it's worse than that?
It's. I think it's a. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, fair enough. Well, let's see if we can't make your day brighter. Let's talk about Trump some more. Okay, I'm sorry. So what's going on with you? What's going on in the world that you want to talk about?
Well, I think that there is a coming police state again, surveillance and everything. It's on its way. Every one of these potential presidential hopefuls said that they are going to increase, security and surveillance and everything else as predicted because of what happened in Brussels. So.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
We got to keep them terrorists out.
Yeah, we said both of us said of course. Yeah, that's It's always the answer. It's always go
for your safety.
It's not just an American thing.
For your safety.
Even Bernie today.
I heard that.
Yeah. Gotta keep that ISIS out.
Mm-hmm. Gotta be scared.
Yeah, got to be scared.
And can you believe? I just can't wrap my head around it. For those who are used to just joining the program at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific. This is our first night of 2 hours of Anti-Media Radio, which you can listen to at www.ucy.tv/TAMR or by going to www.theantimedia.org/radio. You can catch us live every Tuesday and Thursdays at 11 p.m. Eastern. And catch all the replays on YouTube.
That was wonderful. You did a great job.
Did I?
I like listening to those replays, by the way. Those are awesome.
Sometimes. I just don't like it when I talk. For those who don't know, I am your host, S.M. Gibson. We are joined in the studio tonight by Mr. Kevin Knight. Kevin, how are you doing?
Man, doing great. Ready for hour number 2, baby.
Yeah.
Glad to be with you all again. And you as well, Miss Claire.
First go around the horn here. And Shannon Madden.
Yay, it's me. Yeah.
I wish everybody could see Shannon's shirt right now. Shannon has a shirt on with
Homeland Security.
Says Homeland Security fighting terrorism since 1492. It is a picture of some Native American gentlemen.
And holding a gun, yeah.
They are holding
I found that at the thrift store. Can you believe that?
Really?
That's a good
Yeah.
find.
It was obviously pre-Trump. Anyways.
There's going to be, we live in this, as I coined the pre and post Kardashian world, we're going to have a pre and post Trump world, Pre and post 9/11.
Yeah, it probably actually will be.
Oh, yeah.
Or pre and post Hillary Clinton. Come on now.
Sorry.
Come on, you know how that woman plays.
Nope.
She's in it to win it.
Nah.
There is definitely a paradigm shift of some point going on. Now, whether or not it shifts into the ditch or
I ain't gonna let no woman
run me off.
Nah, she's not gonna win. She's got too many
I don't think
enemies.
she will either.
Too many enemies.
Well, that means that Bernie's going to win, or Trump's going to win.
Bernie's done. He's all but finished. The burn is still burning.
Wonder which one of those jokers are going to be put up for the at the DNC.
I want to go ahead and go to a call, area code 407. They've gone Anti-Media Radio. This is your host, S.M. Gibson. Tell us your name and where you're calling from tonight.
Oh, wow.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear?
Yeah, sort of.
Kind of.
Say a few more words.
Yeah, I was calling, actually. I wasn't calling to actually talk to somebody. I thought this was a number that I can call to hear the radio station itself. I wasn't sure.
No.
Because I heard...
This is actually the call-in line, but if you would like to listen to the program online, you can listen to us at www.ucy.tv/TAMR. So, yeah, for everybody, I guess if you're listening, you know where to listen to it at.
Yeah, but, yeah.
Can you say what is that again? Okay, somebody, because that was, if you're like myself, you don't have usually a pen ready to jot these numbers down.
Write it down. Okay,
Right.
www. But if I'm saying it, they're listening.
It's all good.
.ucy.
Hey, let's ask the caller. Caller, if he was listening at home, he wouldn't be calling in to use his cell phone to listen.
Shut up. Just do what we tell you to do.
Could be on YouTube. It could be on YouTube.
It'll definitely be on YouTube. You
caller-
can check all of our shows and all the shows on UCY archive.
But
on
yeah, they
YouTube.
can't hear what I'm saying.
Well,
they know where to hear.
Caller, are you still
I'm
there?
talking
bro?
to the people that are listening
that
now.
was pointless.
Is he still? Hey, caller, are you still there, bro?
We're having a problem with this whole fourth wall concept.
No, we lost him.
He lost. Oh, he must not be here. Anyways, on to the next one.
Claire, clean us out of the gutter.
I'm here.
Yeah. It's like your own gutter
We're
up.
so far into it right now, Claire. Any help would be great help.
Oh, what can I even say at this point?
No, I tell you what, Claire, I wanted you to comment on the story that you have up. You actually have two up right now, and they actually kind of tie in together. One is, did Trump just say he wants an American Gestapo to secure Muslim neighborhoods? And the other, America should take responsibility for the Brussels terror attacks. Talk a little bit about both about those and how they tie in together.
Well, with Trump, just, I guess, he's shocking, and he just never ceases to amaze with his, his likeness to Hitler, Mussolini, or anyone, any dictator, or fascist, or he's just something else. And his comments in this interview with Wolf Blitzer on CNN was that basically he supports employing, well, not like monetarily employing, but probably local police to go into quote-unquote Muslim neighborhoods and somehow secure them against terrorism. But what it really sounded like to me was that he was intimating that this would be like the starting for kind of rounding people up based on their religion. But since this is Trump we're talking about, it's probably based on their skin color more than anything else. This should terrify everybody, because this is singling people out for no apparent reason and saying that they all have the potential to be terrorists. And so we basically need to do something about that, and just the implications of that are far-reaching and really terrifying.
I mean, do you really think this is something he actually believes, though, and not just a talking point?
I don't know.
At this point in the game?
I don't know. I mean, it's so crazy it doesn't matter. It's so crazy it makes no difference.
Donald Trump spent most of his time in New York, which, is probably a little more so-called multiculturalism multicultural than say where we're at right now. You know, and everybody there is probably assholes on the same degree level. That's what we're taught compared to us Southerners down here.
Mm-hmm.
So
you've seen Chris Christie, so that's indicative of the
what
region.
A jerk, man! Golly, it's unfortunate it was him and it should have been him instead of Rob Ford.
Yeah,
but I kid. He's what a nut. But
I think the thing here to keep in mind with Trump is that it doesn't necessarily matter whether or not he actually believes what it is that he's saying or what it is that he's touting. The fact is his followers thoroughly believe it, and they're taken hook, line, and sinker by his rhetoric, and he feeds off of their support. And I've said this a million times. It's this vicious cycle where he says something kind of offhand, and people jump all over it, and his followers jump all over it in a positive way, and it feeds him. And so he gets worse and worse, and he wants to crack down further and further and further. And it's that tendency for him to kind of say anything that also lends credence to the idea that he will do anything once he's in office. So I think it's thoroughly possible, whether he believes this or not, that it could happen.
Yeah, when you put it like that too, it really is. It's almost like he's just throwing things out there, and the one thing that gets a little bit more applause, and suddenly he'll kind of fine tune a little bit, or just throw the word amazing or beautiful in with it, and suddenly it becomes a thing. And then then we'll go ahead and actually develop some real talking points about this one thing that I just happened to make up out of thin air that people seem to like for some reason or another. And that's why I asked that question originally. Do you really honestly think that he feels the way that it, the things that he says, all of these crazy, wild things that he says he's going to do you really honestly believe at the end of the day that he believes that they're going to happen, that he's going to make that happen?
Well, look at what he's done with protesters. At first, the protesters were kind of a novelty for him, and he didn't really think much about it. But when the crowd started pouncing on them, he didn't defend the protesters and their right to speak or their right to protest his rallies. He defended the people beating them up. And, the more that that happens, over and over again, the more he adds fuel to the fire and has made it perfectly acceptable for people to get the crap beaten out of them at his rallies. So there's, one concrete example we have of this being a possibility.
I mean, he's definitely an opportunist. I made this point the other day, and I'll say it again. I personally, I completely understand that point of view, and that is a genuine concern, all of it. I, on the other hand, I don't want to say it on the other hand. I personally, I really think that what we're going to see is Trump is either going to, I know this will be the second term, if he gets a second term, God forbid he gets a first, that he'll go to the center and move immediately toward the left. This guy has been a leftist, he's been a liberal for a lot of his adult life. He's written about it. He's written about it. He's talked about it. He's been given plenty of interviews about it. So whatever he's saying now, that Don's not stupid. I personally don't think, unlike the AIPAC speech that he just gave, that apparently had some people a little aggravated. I don't think he personally goes to speech. He watches and knows the polls. He obviously sees what's going on with the polls, and I think he says what he thinks people want to hear, and he's great at it. I know you guys here at the Anti-Media have reported that he speaks on a fourth grade level to people because that's what the masses unfortunately understand.
Amazing. Wow.
Here's the thing: at this point, it really. I've definitely been one that said, "Oh, I don't believe Trump really believes this." Look, at this point, it doesn't matter. It makes no difference.
Well, that's the thing. Even if his supporters believe it,
far out there.
Most of the most of the Americans, I'm telling you, they will, once Trump gets elected, you know what they'll do, right? Back to sleep. They'll go right back to. I'm sorry, I had that song by Maynard James Keenan with.
Yeah, I know. That's totally 1,000,001.
Yeah, good track.
Well, look, let's go ahead and flip the coin here for a second. Let's go on the other side of this coin and talk about Miss Hillary Clinton, because in all of this Trump talk, Hillary has kind of gotten a pass on.
When's the last time you heard really her name mentioned? I mean, it's a big deal.
Perfect example. I actually posted a story
Benghazi.
I posted a story on Facebook about a local issue that we're having. I'm not going to go into the whole story because it's, if you're from Birmingham, you know what I'm talking about.
Sad
and
day,
I mentioned, I mentioned that
you would
basically put a Trump comparison or Trump supporter comparison or something with the story. And man, I got within 5 minutes, got a bunch of comments and got very few likes, but got all these comments by all the Trump supporters that I keep on my Facebook page for entertainment purposes,
family reasons.
And and I got a few family members as well. And then I posted something last night about Hillary Clinton. I believe it was a meme I got from somewhere. Posted the meme up, and it got absolutely no response one bit whatsoever. Nothing. Nobody. Not even from Trump supporters or anybody that was anti-Hillary. Nobody. Just got no support
you sure you're
whatsoever.
just not unpopular?
Well, that kind of goes without saying. I have less than 1,000 Facebook friends, and I've done that by design.
1,000, dude. I don't even have like 200. I'm gonna keep it that way.
You got yours locked down, yeah, I know.
I don't need that much.
Well, I mean, half that's family. I'm the oldest of 14 children. So.
I don't need that. Keep it.
Clinton is just as bad. She's just, I mean, we already know that she's a war hawk. We already know that she's willing to kill people all over the world. We know, like, from today, she's already called for more police and more surveillance, in the wake of Brussels. We know that she's bad. She's terrible. But she, I don't think, is a loose cannon. We know where she stands. We know that she's about those things. Trump, on the other hand, because he's primarily a narcissist about everything else, is likely to do just about anything. And it's that unpredictability, I think, that is actually the cause for concern, not so much necessarily what he's going to do, but the fact that we have no idea what it is that he actually will do.
I think if we took a clip of what you just said and sent it to Hillary Clinton, I think you would get her elected. But I go and look. At least she's not a loose cannon. Vote for Hillary. That's a great campaign slogan.
No.
At least she's not a loose cannon.
Yeah, at least she's not a loose cannon. At least she's not Trump.
Yep.
And that's pretty much about what's going on in
she's terrible.
The Republican Party is pretty much, that's how Ted Cruz and little Marco, up until he kind of finally, bid us farewell.
At this point, I would rather vote for the tree in my front yard than any of these candidates. They all are terrible.
Yes,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. She is equally as bad as Trump. It's just that we know that she is.
That's what politics is like. How can they assemble the worst of the worst?
The trees in your front yard would bring about some real change.
It assembles, and when you get to the very pinnacle, the very top, you have weeded throughout all the good ones, and it is just pure evil at the top. Yep. And stupid John Kasich.
That guy.
And angry Bernie. I don't think Bernie's evil. He's just angry and confused.
Now, if Larry David were to run, that's what really needs to happen, is Bernie needs to go ahead and go home and rest and let Larry David run the rest of his campaign as Bernie Sanders.
They could swap it out.
Oh, God.
They could swap it out like that sister. I know there's been movies about twins.
Yeah. The one with
David,
Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito?
Know, things.
Well, they were paternal twins.
I think there was one with, I want to say Miley Cyrus, but that's not it. Who was the crazy? Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, yeah.
I have no idea what it's called.
Oh,
I never
Lindsay.
saw it.
I wonder what she's doing these days.
The movie may not even exist.
So how about Cuba and where are we at, Claire?
Put it. Just come in. What about Cuba? Yeah.
All right,
that was like 40 minutes ago. Where you been?
No, just Cuba or any other. What were we just talking about? Seemed like I was trying to help you get this thing back on the road, man.
Okay. Well, I thought we were on the road. I thought we were doing just fine.
I think we were on the road. I think you went off the road.
Yeah.
What were we just hop?
I think you were off the road.
I want some pizza. Anybody want to eat pizza?
Jeez, what is wrong with you
I would
people?
throw one back in a heartbeat.
Welcome to the anti-media group chat.
First 2 hour nights.
Are we going to get through? Here it is. Like, this is going to be, I guess, the gimmick of the show. Can we get through a show where I don't fire both of you?
That'd be awesome.
Because it's happening right now.
You fire. All right, fine. I'm leaving. I'm playing.
Kenny's dead.
You want to go get some pizza, Kevin? man.
Fired, unemployed.
We'll fire you.
Look, see, I'm Donald Trumping up. You're fired.
That's the effect he's had on everybody. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Everybody's just, I mean,
well,
whether you're a supporter, a Trump supporter, or anti-Trump, or even people that have a vague notion of what politics are.
Shannon, look at me.
Yes.
You are overrated. You know you're a lightweight.
That was disgusting you said that to me.
You know you're a lightweight.
Yeah.
You know you're overrated.
Yeah.
You know you're a loser.
Yeah.
That's it. That covers it.
I'm a little fat, too.
I don't think you would say that. I don't think you'd go there.
Well, you know.
Oh, okay, so the Brussels.
Yeah, please, Claire, tell us what you think about that. I have my thoughts, but I don't have any, confirmations. It's all suspicions.
Yeah, we talked about it a little earlier.
I don't know what I think.
The word was already out that there might possibly, it could be Brussels, could be anywhere.
Yeah,
and then a week later,
a lot of people were pointing at that.
And of course, we also have the last Paris attacks, which we had a story up written by the wonderful Claire Burnish about the Eagles of Death Metal frontman and his account of what happened that night. With the suddenly they were short-staffed on the guards, and the guards that were there looked like they were pretty much kind of waiting for something to happen, and a coordinated, orchestrated situation.
I think that even beyond the details of what actually happened and who did it, I think it's important to have a discussion about the larger narrative of what is actually creating terrorists. No matter what, the whole issue of U.S. imperialistic foreign policy.
Yes, ma'am.
And my reaction to, I was rather shocked about the attacks, and then immediately people, before they even had figured out how many people had died or been injured or anything else, when their confusion was still underway, people were literally blaming the entire religion of Islam, and it just infuriated me. Because it's like we are doing this all over again. We do this constantly, over and over and over again. This country tends to just blame the easiest scapegoat without putting any thought whatsoever into why they're doing so.
Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. And again, it's all about us being better. It's all about us being number one and us defeating this and having power over this and being stronger than this and more than this. And it's all this ego-driven society.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, I'll interject. And I mentioned this a little while ago, actually. We were talking about this. The next time you hear somebody complaining about the refugee situation, remind them that they would not be coming here seeking asylum, seeking to get away from what is now hell in their former country. That if the United States had not and they're not the only ones, but if the Western states,
it's like a cycle. What happens is this: is the bombs start here, we ship them over there, we drop them, those people leave, they come over here. One of those people, out of the thousands and thousands, one of those people, or so they say, one of those people, or whatever the situation may be, does something, and then we have to go send the bombs again. The people come back over, and the cycle continues. I mean, it's as simple as that. How do you fix it? I guess you stop the madness, stop sending the bombs over, and then the people won't have to come over, and everybody will be happy. Everybody can live their life. And if they want to come over, after that, they won't seem so scared to everybody, and everybody can live their life. Why is that so hard to understand? Don't kill people. Don't drop bombs on people. People don't appreciate it. If somebody dropped a bomb on your head, you would hate them too. It's that simple. Let's not overcomplicate things. It doesn't matter, it's for this or that. They hate us for our freedom. No, they don't. They hate us because we're dropping bombs on them.
Yeah, our freedom is killing their families in front of them, and their extended families and their neighbors.
And that's the thing. You don't have to. You don't have to go listen to. Don't listen to former President Bush when he says the hate is for our freedoms. Go listen to Anwar al-Awlaki and Osama bin Laden tell you why they take responsibility for what they do. Now, I know there'll be cries of, well, you don't want to listen to terrorists, and that's just propaganda.
Both of those guys were.
I know. I wasn't going to even go down that sidetrack. But what I mean is,
both of those guys. Yeah, both those guys were on the payroll.
Oh, right. They were but you can listen to. You don't have to. You can listen to these people will tell you why they're doing what they're doing. But it all comes down to still the refugees situation, and this is also going to cause more anti-refugee sentiment. Surely, it goes back to you don't want refugees, don't create them.
Right.
But you would think this is rocket science to people. It's like they don't understand that. People have forgotten, like almost as a whole, how to walk in someone else's shoes. They forget how to imagine bombs dropping on their neighbor's house and, or killing their family. They've forgotten how to understand that. I don't understand why people don't get that. It's really simple.
American is so far removed from that scenario. I mean, if something like that happened, they would, crap their pants and sit and kneel down and scream out in fear, government, come save us now. Yeah, the problem is that's not going to happen. One of the reasons that you don't see these Brussels-style attacks in mass in the United States is because we have 500 million guns floating around because our Second Amendment allows us that for the moment.
I'll be honest with you. I don't really think any guns would have actually. It sounds like guns would not have prevented this type situation.
No, but
it could definitely prevent fewer and deter.
I will say
those suicide bombers are not the only ones.
If everybody's got a gun in their pocket, there will be more thought, more preparation, more plans.
For whatever it's worth, you just mentioned him. Jesse from Eagles of Death Metal said that if somebody would have had a gun in there, he said as many people wouldn't have gotten killed.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say nobody.
The reason I said I don't think a gun would help in this situation, these guys were suicide bombers. Once the bomb was off, it was it. There wasn't. They didn't come in to my understanding, go out. They didn't come in and blaze shoot the first.
That one of them, if somebody would have killed him, the bomb would have gone off anyway or something. So
they're looking for in a Fox situation, but still, it goes to show you, they've already got a supposed. Just like the U.S. has got NSA surveillance, we've got all these massive spying for your benefit, for your, for obviously for your safety. France has obviously got it. They're going to have more and more and more of it. And what's it going to do? It's going to erode the freedom, the liberty, and the privacy of your average citizen. And they still will not be able. There is no perfect way to prevent terrorism, except you can only limit terrorism and limit the things that cause terrorism. That's it.
Orwell. He wrote all about it, except it's on a much grander scale.
Word.
It's crazier. It's crazier than what he imagined. They spy on us. They scare us. They control us. Fear, fear, fear. We're manipulated through fear.
It makes you wonder.
We're manipulated.
Makes you wonder shortly after it was printed which government member or which official or which policy maker grabbed a copy of that and says, you know what? This is actually a good idea.
Look, we're manipulated through these elections. The candidates cause division. Division causes fear. Scary. Everybody's going to hurt you. So what do? We give up more rights. We give up everything this country is supposedly founded on. Supposedly. Who knows how long ago that was.
Give up our free speech, too. Might as well go ahead and throw that one out the window, too.
Yeah, but it's really claiming.
We'll replace this broadcast with, whatever propaganda you want to hear about how we're doing such a great job and we're so great and everything's great, great, great.
I think I personally probably I tend to paint a picture of just all doom and gloom. But, I think we're getting to a point now, I think it's coming to a head. It's like we're looking back at what we've had the past, while now. And like, oh man, wasn't that bad? Like, it wasn't that, but like, it was bad. It was bad, but it wasn't that bad. Like, the Bush and the war stuff was horrible. Like, going over there and killing 1 million people.
And it hasn't
that's
stopped.
rough. But I think it's going to get bad here. I think it's going to get, like, way worse. To the point where we're going to be like, oh, it wasn't so bad. And maybe I'm wrong, and I hope I am wrong. And I hope I'm just being pessimistic and I'm being myself and just, looking down the road and like, oh, here we go.
Because it's not just Trump; it's a lot of the other, it's a lot of the other speech and conversation that is wrapped up in it. It's really not a conversation; it's just a shouting match between two sides, and it's now encompassed the races. It's encompassed different religions. Everybody's against one another, and everybody's trying to be great again. I mean, what the hell, man? What about lifting your neighbor up, and what about loving one another?
People don't want none of that. I tell you what, I want to change directions real quick, and I wanted to read the very beginning of an article that we have up on the antimedia.org. The title of the article is Nixon Advisor Admitted War on Drugs Invented to Crush Anti-War and Black Movements. In 1994, a former Nixon policy advisor admitted the war on drugs was waged not to keep Americans safe, but to crush dissent, according to John Ehrlichman, who served time in prison for his involvement in the Watergate scandal. The drug war was intended to disempower anti-war and black rights movements in the 1970s. Author Dan Baum wrote in the April edition of Harper's Magazine that in 1994 he spoke with the now deceased Ehrlichman, who frankly explained why President Nixon pushed prohibition. Okay, and this was the whole point of all that nonsense. So this is where you should actually listen, because I'm sure you tuned all that other out. The Nixon campaign in 1968 and the Nixon White House after that had two enemies, the anti-war left and black people. You understand what I'm saying? We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did. Yeah, I don't even know what to say about that. Like, do you understand that they're openly admitting that the drug war was an actual war on people?
In case we didn't know that already.
Like, it's being admitted out in the open. Hey,
way after the fact. Yeah.
Guess what we did?
But at the same time, though, at the same time, there's so much more, and we talk about this show after show after show, about the fact that the police state, our United States government, everybody's, because we all have cameras and microphones about it. Okay, you see us doing this now. Okay, so what? Big deal. We're going to continue to do it. What are you going to do about it?
That's it. What can anybody do about it? What can they really do about it?
You either
you can't, I guess. Look,
you act right and you look the other way, or you fall under the boot.
I don't think, because
the heel of a boot.
Realistically, you're not going to get enough people rise up in the streets over that. It's too.
But that's not the.
It's for most people, it's an inconvenience. But look, it's ruined so many people's lives. The drug war ruined lives.
I guess that's
should have never happened.
Not part of my personal charter. No one single person is going to turn around in the drug war. No, they're not. But this is a long term. This is just like every ideological battle or every aspect of this this quest for a more freer life for all of us that we face. It's just not just, even when it comes to the drug war, when it comes to taxation, when it comes to for some, when it comes to gay marriage, it's a lot of different areas of that we can go for it. But we're not going to win this overnight. But it's important that we fight. It's important that we resist. You never know. There is a collective resistance out there, and there are people fighting for these things that we don't realize are actually doing so. But all it takes is the right video clip, the right amount of people to get behind a movement, to get behind a person, to shine light on an event. I've seen some of Claire's articles about some events get shared so many times. There's no telling how many times they went on to be shared further and further and further. You know, before shots started being fired in the first American Revolution, you know, supposedly the revolution had started in the minds and the hearts of men and women for 20 years prior to. So unfortunately, this is what it happens. And if we're going to defeat any kind of globalist, I say globalist, any kind of system push.
Yeah.
And I say globalist.
They're coming to get you.
Hey, planned or unplanned, the state's going to grow in every aspect in every country globally, and it's going to continue smashing out and stamping out liberty and freedom. So it's our responsibility that they take the long-term view. It's our responsibility to do the same, I believe. And so I think we have to keep resisting, and we can't just chalk it up to, well, there's nothing that we can do at all. You never know what video is going to be the one that sparks, that continues to feed and grow a movement, to be honest with you. I mean, look at all the movements. Look how much steam we've gained. Who would even thought that anybody would even care about the events going on? We're maybe a long way before doing it. But
Trump's been good for that. He's been good for that, and the reason he's been good for that is because he's a public figure that people have focused their frustrations on.
Well, you mentioned if it's, God forbid, I hate, I'm not a Trump fan whatsoever, but you mentioned a minute ago,
right.
He mentioned the 28 pages. He's mentioned the Federal Reserve.
You'll never hear about it.
I know, and I don't think we will at all. I don't think we will at all. But
no candy in that van.
I'm not using that as an example to vote for him, but there's a few people that are going to hear from that. The only reason that Trump would have done that is why? Because he knew that somebody wanted to hear that. A group of society needed to hear that.
Maybe that 2/3 of people that are currently not voting right now. Yeah, for reasons like what somebody's finally bringing to light, but at the same time, it's just something he heard or something he read in a chat room somewhere. I mean, Trump has never talked about any of this stuff until just a few months ago. Suddenly all these cameras, and suddenly I got to kind of find a new angle because I can only use the words disgusting and beautiful so often.
I agree completely. But for him to go and make a statement about the Federal Reserve of all things, I was glad that he won't do anything towards the Federal Reserve.
I don't even pretend like it's a
Snickers bars exist, but there's none in that van.
No, but that's what I'm telling you. We have not, and not that I believe he'll follow up on it. You guys know I don't expect him to follow up on that. But it's only to follow up the point that he's speaking.
That would be a great Snickers commercial.
He thinks literally.
If it was like Adolf just like going around the school breathing and just throwing his tantrums, and they give him the Snickers, and it's Trump. Man, what a marketing scheme.
That is awesome, actually.
Yeah, somebody get Snickers on the phone.
Gosh.
They're gonna
at least
sell
Funny or Die or somebody. Come on, man.
Wow, that'd be great.
That is a good. We come up with some great ideas sometimes on the show.
No, I don't. So I tell you what, they're doing the elections tonight. Looks like no surprise that Trump is going to win Arizona. He's gonna. I don't know what they're saying on whatever they're just saying stuff on, but he's gonna lose Utah. I already know it. Whatever the people
we watched a little clip of the speech he did in Utah over the weekend, and Friday actually, and he starts the speech off with, "Well, we weren't really going to come to Utah, but then I looked at my advisor and I said, well, wait, they're just going to go straight to Arizona." And I told him, whoa, wait, I want to see what's going on in Utah. Like this conversation really took place. It's like, no, wait. So you mean we're just going to drive or fly all the way over Utah and not at least stop and say hi? Come on, man. No. Come on. I want to go to Utah, man.
Yeah, they weren't going to stop me from seeing you people. Yeah. They tried. They didn't want me to see you. And I said,
same line that he used here in Birmingham. There's thousands of people outside.
I'm going to go out of my way to see you.
We got speakers outside for to hear, but you people made it inside where it counts. This is where you're
I don't need anything from you. Yeah. I just came to check it out.
Come in here in front of Daddy.
I'm here. You're here.
Daddy's home.
Let's just have a convo.
Daddy's home.
Let me tell you how it's gonna go.
Yeah.
So I tell you what, I want to go back and play the clip that we started the show with all of an hour and 40 minutes ago. But I only want to play just a few seconds of it. Claire, I don't know
Claire,
if you've told us about your story on this yet.
Children laying dead on the floor. I would say if they watch that, maybe, just maybe, they'll approve waterboarding and other things.
As you know, Ted Cruz suggested today the U.S. should step up its involvement going into Muslim neighborhoods, as he described it, looking for potential terrorists. Is that something you would support?
Yes, I would. I think that's a good idea.
I'm talking about Muslim neighborhoods in the United States, for example.
Yeah, I would support that, yes, 100%.
But how would you do that? How do you find out where Muslim neighborhoods are?
You do it. Yeah, let me tell you, I bet you the local police know much more than what's going on than anybody would understand. I would be willing to bet that the local police, and that I know it's true with the gang.
Claire, excuse all these nonsense idiots in here throwing stuff around the room.
Yeah, what was all that noise in that clip? Gosh.
Yeah. What was it? The people that got fired twice already in this episode now.
Well, I must do. Can I go home now?
Let's go. Claire, what's your thoughts on that? I know you wrote the story about it that's up on theantimedia.org right now. But does that not alarm you the way it does me?
Yeah, it really does. And actually, hearing it, for the zillionth time, because I keep listening to it, I'm also reminded, actually, back to something else I wrote in apparently December. This really reminds me a lot of Pastor Niemöller's kind of famous poem, First They Came For, and the title of that article that I wrote was First They Came For the Muslims, and it's like, wow, I mean, there it is, right there. And that, like I said before, that's terrifying because it's not going, people are so deluded and they have the wool of their eyes so firmly, they forget that once this happens to one group, it begins to happen to everybody.
That's it. Mm-hmm. Once it happens to one, it'll happen to all.
Yeah.
And look, think about all the stuff that was happening to the Jews in the 30s and the 40s, and nobody knew it.
Or the Japanese Americans here in the United States.
Oh, yeah. Yes, of course. And nobody knew it. Not really, in some circles, but not really. And then,
people think that stuff like this won't happen. Not only do they not realize it will happen again, they think it can't happen here. But all of the signs that it can and will happen here are already in place.
I mean, just think about the Homan Square in Chicago. I mean, it's a much lesser level of what we're talking about, but you're just disappearing people. I mean, you've already shown that you'll disappear people.
Well, even looking at the camps, I say the camps, because I think that's what they are. I won't get into it.
But when you start talking about a whole religion, that's scary.
Well, look at all the camps down there on the border. Even the so-called refugee camps, but the immigrant camps where where all these people are staying at. When you go look at these places, I mean, the few videos and pictures have leaked out. I mean, the treatment and the conditions that people are living in, and the federal government's ordering, of course, a silence. Nothing's to be said about it. That kind of stuff, goes to show you, should make you question the federal government's motives and question your own sanity when you say that the government's doing because they care.
No, that's ridiculous. They don't. I tell you what, real quick, I wanted to have an update. We were supposed to have a guest on the program tonight. We are still going to have them on. It will not be tonight, apparently. Looks like...
Well, you already did a meme for it. You might as well tell them who it is. Yeah, you've been all mysterious about it and so on and so forth. It's already been advertised, so you know. Well, it's Judah Friedlander. It's awesome. And we were waiting on pins and needles for him to call. It's been so wonderful to even think that we get a chance to talk to him, but unfortunately, he is very busy fellow.
He is,
like doing 2 shows.
He's doing a ton of great stuff.
He is. I mean, seriously, this guy just works his butt off.
Yeah, I watching some of the stand-up. It's pretty great.
Yeah. So
I didn't realize how anti-establishment of a comedian he was. Like he really is.
Yeah, check out some stuff on YouTube. Cool. A lot of and of course his comedy is hilarious. I mean, there's very few comics working today that are as funny as him. I'm sorry, I'm just going to say that. But.
Yeah, he's got a good one about Columbus Day. Go check it out on YouTube.
Probably funnier than my shirt. Well, yeah, we will get him back on as soon as his schedule permits. He's actually got a few shows coming up. He'll be in New York performing. Actually, I have that all wrote down in my notes. I had all kind of notes that I was going to ask him and all kind of questions and stuff. But he will be appearing in New York City, April 12th at the Village Underground. Tickets are at Comedy Cellar, COMED, comedy. Okay, I'm sorry, I wrote that wrong. ComedyCellar.com, COMED Cellar.com. And hopefully we'll have him on soon so he can pay us back for that plug we just gave him. Bastard. But no, it's very nice for him to consider being on the show with us tonight. He's just very busy fellow.
Yeah, he originally reached out to us too, which was shocking.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's cool, and if any A through C list celebrity is listening right now and would love to be on Anti-Media Radio, we would love to have you. You can hit us up and
no to the A list.
Kevin will pay you cash out of his pocket.
No to
for
the
your
A-listers.
appearance.
I don't need it.
I don't know. What's a good A-lister?
If you're not friends with Andy Dick, I don't need you on this show.
What about Lady Gaga? She's an A-lister. I'd talk to her.
What do you do? I'm not going. Oh my gosh, I'm not doing this again.
I love Lady Gaga.
No, not this conversation again.
I know. I'm not even.
Hey, I didn't talk about Lady Gaga last time.
I'm not even feeding it. So, like I tell you what, I'm going to go play that clip I was talking about.
Argentina, we have a lot of weird
Judah
holidays
Friedlander.
in this country. Do you have any weird holidays in Argentina? Okay, that's cool too. We have a lot of weird ones here. We have Christopher Columbus Day. Have you heard of him? It's about Christopher Columbus. He's the guy who discovered America, even though there was already 1 million people living here for thousands of years. And he called them Indians because he thought he landed in India, but he fucked up and landed in America. But they just kept calling them Indians, and then they pretty much slaughtered all the Indians. And we have a holiday celebrating that guy. It's kind of weird. How should we really celebrate Christopher Columbus Day? Here's a thought. You know when you're up in a big building on a high floor, and you're going back down to the lobby, but the elevator's crowded, and someone else has pressed floor 3, but you weren't paying attention, so when the elevator stops on floor 3, you get off because you think it's the lobby. And instead of realizing that, and then walking back into the elevator, and admitting that you're a moron, and being like, hey guys, sorry, I'm a fucking idiot, I wasn't paying attention, I thought it was the lobby. No, you don't admit it. You just stay on floor 3, and you pretend it's the lobby. And then you murder everyone on floor 3. That's how we should.
That's awesome. Yeah, I guess that is how we should celebrate Columbus Day. I think that's about appropriate. And that again, you have to go back to the whole issue of immigration. That's why it's been such a sticky subject for me, because of how we originally founded this country to begin with. We're not originally from here. None of us are. None of us in this room are descended solely from people that were indigenous to this land. All of us have immigrant blood coursing through our veins, and every single one of these people out here that are screaming and hollering about the immigrants that are going to come take our jobs and murder our women and rape them and all this other stuff, that all of them are descended from people who immigrated from other places in the world to America for whatever reason.
But who cares? Like, honestly,
at the end of the day,
why? No, but why? Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? I don't care what your ancestors did. I don't care what my ancestors did. Guess what? They're dead. What do I care? I don't care about my ancestors. I don't care about if somebody tomorrow comes from somewhere else. Just don't kill me. Don't hurt me. Don't harm
drive
anybody.
about 100 miles west of here, and you can go to the Alabama-Mississippi border.
So naive.
Have you ever seen the little dots that make up the border between Alabama and Mississippi? No, because those borders don't exist. Just like the border between America and Canada.
There is. We're going from Mississippi and Louisiana. That river, man, whole terrain changes.
That's different.
Yeah, Louisiana's its own country, though.
It really
God
is.
bless them.
Yeah.
Borders, to me, I have characterized as the arbitrary geopolitical happenstance of your birth, because they don't matter. They're ridiculous. They're government imposed, and they don't mean anything to us as human beings.
First off, that's 100% correct. But, in realistic terms, there are cultural differences and societal differences. And guess what? People speak different languages. People have different customs. People eat different food. But at the end of the day, we love our loved ones. We want to try to have a good, happy life. We want to provide to the people around us. We all love. We all get mad. We all have fear. We're all not just warmongering, screaming, which is what they want you to think.
A lot of us are too busy trying to eat to worry about who we're at war with.
Yeah, nobody. It's the same whether it's in Iran, whether it's in Syria, whether it's in Iraq, whether it's in the United States. Somebody thinks just because, they're in, Dayton, Ohio or somewhere, that, I'm living my life as an American. But this is America. People, they're trying to live lives too with their families. They don't care what their government's doing. Just like here. We don't care what, the government's got that. We'll take care of it. And yet these people suffer.
I mean, the people in Detroit, Michigan right now, suffering.
Jeez, man, what's
I mean, that's our own. That's our own people, and we just completely forgot about them. Just completely, just left.
But that's kind of my point, though. I mean, the borders are so arbitrary. It's not like we take care of people here. We're not taking care of anybody anywhere else. But the borders have made it so that our governments feel like they have to make war everywhere on the planet and make everybody's life miserable. Whereas people might normally and naturally kind of congregate to people who are like them, who speak the same language or who, practice the same cultural norms, etc. With borders, it's like arbitrarily enforced and placed and imposed on people, and it makes a huge difference.
Experience your culture, you come experience my culture. Why? What's so hard about that?
Well, again, it goes back to the question of why are we spending all this money going to war everywhere, all over the world, trying to keep America great, and why are we trying to make America great within our own borders, within our own imaginary borders at that? Why aren't we trying to lift our own people up?
That's what they think they're doing with Trump. Look, they don't care about Flint, Michigan.
Oh, no.
They don't. And I tell you what, I hate to, sound all sharpened about this, but I have a hard time believing if demographics of Flint, Michigan were different, this would have been happening.
Yep.
So I have a hard time believing that.
Yeah.
So that's pathetic. That's sad that you're going to let somebody go not only without, but poison them.
Intentionally, almost,
yeah,
it seems like.
Because of your societal status of economics and skin color.
Mm-hmm.
Just let them to die.
Yeah.
And I've always said that about the
all lives matter.
Yeah, I've always said that about
lives matter.
The time I spent in Detroit.
Yeah.
Very little time. It's like they let those people die. And they're the toughest, strongest, don't give a crap people.
Yeah.
Because they just were left to die. And that's what they did in Flint.
Yeah. doing right now in Flint as we speak.
Man, they're tough people.
Yeah.
Good people. They're great. They're great. They're great people. I've heard Ohio's just a piece of crap, though, Claire.
Yes.
I've heard.
Well, think of it. Boehner comes from here. Kasich comes from here. All of the bad weather in this nation comes from here.
Ohio State. Oh
God.
Urban Meyer.
They can have that guy.
Keep it all. LeBron James. It is not. Greg Elo.
I like LeBron James. Come on now.
No way.
I'm a LeBron fan. I can't help it.
I'm coming to Alabama.
Come on, roll tide.
Roll tide. Well, I tell you what, we've only got...
It's definitely great here in Alabama, that's for sure. You don't have to make Alabama great again, because it's great now. Well, maybe except for our school systems, but at least we're not Mississippi.
It's great wherever you're at, Shannon. It's great wherever you're at.
Well, thank you. I thought I was still fired.
Oh, yeah.
You're still fired. Yeah, okay. You're just trying to soften the blow.
Yeah, well, no.
At the end of the show, he's going to rip his headphones off and throw it against the wall. What the hell was that? Yeah.
Oh, man, that is so...
You're such a tyrant tonight. All this Trump has really gotten into your blood, man.
Let me tell you something. No, Trump, Phil Spector.
Hide the knives.
Yeah, I tell you, we've only got a few minutes left here.
Thankfully.
And
Can you believe it's been 2 hours? Wow.
Yeah.
We did it. We're still alive. We made it.
It was all right. Can't complain.
Well, he messed up like twice. 4 times.
What? Like for what? We didn't mess up for like 2 minutes?
No, okay, yeah. Half the show was all messed up.
That's all right. That's all you can do, man. So, I'm going to let everybody, I'm going to go around here and leave some words for everybody. Kevin, do you have any parting words until Thursday?
Later, Gator.
All right.
Everybody stay out of the polls. Just stay out of that mess. That's some nasty, nasty business. Donald Trump is no better than Hillary Clinton, is no better than Bernie Sanders, is no better than Ted Cruz, is no better than little Marco Rubio. I'm telling you, there's no candy in that van. Taxation is theft in our government.
Why am I seeing that all the time?
Because it's the damn truth. I'm sorry, did you agree to pay your taxes this year, or did you pay out of obligation?
I didn't say I didn't agree. I just think...
But you paid up. You
paid because it was already taken out of your paycheck, most likely.
Well, either that or you had to file whatever, and you had to give them whatever, because you know there's penalties if you don't. They'll take all of this glorious empire that surrounds us away from you. That's theft, my friend. Yeah. You can say whatever you want to.
I didn't say you were wrong. So, is that what you got to say? Is that it?
That's it. I'm done.
I have something.
Fired now.
All right. Oh, yeah.
I'm firing myself.
I've got something.
Please, Miss Clay.
I would like to embellish one of my favorite quotes and say that in the age of information, ignorance is a dangerous choice.
Amen.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
So can we be done now?
Not quite.
So mote it be, dog.
I tell you what.
Oh, by the way, Claire, listeners, if you've got a moment, go and look up Claire on Facebook and follow her. If Claire, I don't assume you don't mind me telling them that. She always posts, along with the anti-media, of course, she posts a ton of great information, hard to find information.
I don't even think about that.
Stuff before it even gets printed up.
That would be, yeah. Everybody should follow Claire because she's posting all this great stuff.
Oh, yeah. Great stuff. So definitely, listeners.
Definitely go follow Claire Burnish on the Facebooks and the Twitters.
And the anti-media. Not the anti-media plus. Fake.
Yeah. What is that?
Yeah,
is that one of those?
I
love those. Those are hilarious.
I'll explain to you.
It's not us. Anti-media plus is not us.
No, it is not us. Anti-media plus is not. Build a wall. Build a wall. You need to build a wall around your Facebook page. That's what's going on. You're getting invaded.
They already got it.
You're getting invaded. They coming to get you.
It's
time to make anti-media great again.
There's a wall around it. It's in Utah.
Oh, no, not just great, but great again.
It used to be great. It's never going to be great again.
2 hours ago it was.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Ashton Gibson for Anside Media Radio. We will be back on Thursday. Anside Media Radio out.
In the
I'ma let them know through the stereo. Yo, here we go through the stereo.